What are you doing in here? What are you doing in here? Get out of here. Didn't you get the message? The show's over. Everything's over. Ever since they died, the show's been over. There's no more Mario, no more Sonic, no more Donkey Kong, especially no more Smash Bros. I can't bear to have the show anymore. Just get out before I make you. Cousin's weird magic stick thing. It's this. I could save her. I could go back in time and stop the rocket. I could stop them from dying. But I don't know how to use this thing. Only my cousin knew how to do that, and he's dead. I'll use this power source. I'll do it for them. I can't believe it. I can save them. Looks like it's time to go back to the past. I can't wait to see them again. I can finally get over my grief. And as for you, I'm glad you're here with me. You know, time travel takes some time, so I think it's time for me to finally move on and talk about the supposed worst Smash Bros. Game, Super Smash Bros. Brawl.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Retro Bite Show. You already know me, it's Hayden, so let's start the episode. Jeez, Super Smash Bros. Brawl is the third game in the series and has a few changes from the last games. It has some characters who are Mario, Luigi, Peach, Bowser, Yoshi, Donkey Kong, Link, Zelda, Sheik, Ganondorf, Samus, Ice Climbers, Kirby, Fox, Falco, Captain Falcon, Pikachu, Jigglypuff, Marth, Ness, Mr. Game & Watch, Diddy Kong, Wario, Toon Link, Zero Suit Samus, Pit, Rob, Meta Knight, King Dedede, Olimar, Wolf, Pokemon Trainer, Lucario, Ike, Lucas, Snake, and Sonic. I think that's all of them. Anyways, the story in the adventure mode that goes like this. It's called the Subspace Emissary, and like everything in this mode has the word subspace in front of it. So, Mario and Kirby are fighting on a stadium, and then the battleship Halberd kind of flies in out of nowhere and drops this weird purple stuff. It is at this time that I should mention that in this world, a fighter turns into a trophy when defeated. The purple stuff is called shadow bugs, and they form the Subspace Army's troops. They can also form into false fighters that are like evil clones of characters made by the shadow bugs grouping around their trophy form. Then, this guy who looks like a green bow with eyes shows up. He's called the Ancient Minister, and he uses this subspace bomb thing on the arena. And he has to sacrifice 2 robs to use it. Usually, detonating a literal bomb in a stadium would be a huge incident, and if you did, you would be killed on sight. But the bomb doesn't actually kill anyone. Instead, it transports the affected area into subspace. Subspace is a big dark void, kind of like that magic space thing my cousin sent me to, except subspace is completely empty. It's just pure darkness everywhere you look. The bombs transport the affected areas into subspace, kind of like big floating islands in there. So anyways, Mario runs towards the bomb, but then he gets shot by a cannonball from this weird cloud of smoke. Then Princess Peach and Princess Zelda get kidnapped by Petey Piranha, and since Mario got blown away, Kirby has to stop Petey by himself. He frees one of the princesses, you get to choose, and then Petey explodes while the freed princess runs away. Then Wario comes out of nowhere with this weird dark cannon thing. He turns it towards Kirby and the freed princess, but then notices the other princess's cage is broken, and shoots them instead. They instantly turn into a trophy, and Wario steals the trophy. Kirby and the princess try to catch him, but they realize the bomb's gonna explode. So Kirby summons a warp star, and they fly away as the stadium gets sent to subspace. Meanwhile, Pip from Kid Icarus has been watching this whole thing from Skyworld, and he finds Palutena, who gives him a bone and tells him to save the world. He then, kind of leaps away and finds the halberd. It drops tons of shadow bugs and flies away. After he beats the opponents they form, he travels some more and finds Mario. He revives Mario and they keep on chasing the halberd, but then they run out of ground cover and watches an air wing flies by. Kirby and the princess also appear to be chasing the halberd, but somehow it ends up behind them. Kirby jumps onto the halberd's deck, and the air wing from earlier finally catches up with the ship. It tries to attack the ship, but is shot down by the combo cannon's arm. It crashes to the ground, and passes Kirby and the princess before they fall off the ship. They then land in the sea of clouds and continue running after the ship. Meanwhile, east of Skywood, the Koopa Troop is stealing DK's bananas. While he beats them up, they're carrying the bananas in a cargo. So the cargo fires bullet bills at DK. Then Diddy swoops in and shoots them down with his peanut guns to save DK. So the cargo keeps on firing bullet bills, and the two keep chasing the Koopa Troop throughout the jungle. They get the bananas back, but then Bowser appears with his dark cannon. He prepares to shoot the both of them, but then DK punches Diddy out of the way, taking the blast himself. Diddy watches as he's turned into a trophy, and flies away while Bowser kidnaps DK's trophy. Mario and Pit have found a plane and are chasing the halberd still. They catch up with the Ancient Minister, but he escapes easily. Diddy lands and searches for help in the jungle. He finds the air wing that was shot down, and he tries using his deductive reasoning and skills on it before Rayquaza bursts out of the lake. It attacks the air wing and grabs Diddy, when suddenly Fox jumps out of the ship and gets Diddy out of Rayquaza's grasp. The two of them beat Rayquaza, and Diddy convinces Fox to help him save DK. They then continue to fight members of the Koopa Troop before encountering Bowser. He looks a bit odd, but they still beat him up, before it's revealed that he was actually a false fighter. The real Bowser fires the dark cannon just off screen, but misses. Diddy wants to fight Bowser for DK, but Fox stops him and takes him away, deciding that it's too dangerous to fight Bowser while he has the cannon. South of there, Lucas wanders around an abandoned zoo. The Subspace Army then appears, led by the Porky statue. Lucas runs, but trips over it and his foot gets stuck. He's about to be caught, when Ness shows up and uses his PK moves to destroy the statue. The statue is revealed to actually have been piloted by Porky himself in his weird spider mech thing. You know the one. Anyways, they fight him in his mech, and they win. Then they see Wario on top of a pillar. He fires the cannon at Ness, but Ness dodges all the shots. He then fires at Lucas, but Lucas is too scared to move, so Ness pushes him away and takes the blast like DK did with Diddy. Wario walks to the trophy and maniacally laughs while Lucas runs away. He then runs into a Pokemon trainer who has a Squirtle. They continue to fight through the zoo, and the trainer goes off while Lucas follows him to try and rescue Ness. Then, northwest of there, the Subspace Army is attacking a fortress at an ancient battleground. Martha's there, and when he sees a subspace bomb exploding in the distance, when he reaches the blast zone, Meta Knight sword fights him, and he sword fights Meta Knight, with each of them believing that the other is in the subspace army. After the actual subspace army shows up and attacks them, they realize they're both on the same side and team up. They eventually find the Ancient Minister, and he's got another bomb. They don't make it in time to stop the bomb, but then Ike shows up and uses Aether to break the bomb and send the Ancient Minister flying away. They form a trio and continue on their way. King Dedede has now realized that Bowser and Wario are collecting defeated fighters' trophies and keeping them from others so the fighters can't be revived. He plans to start his own collection to keep them from the enemy. He ambushes Luigi to get his trophy, but then he hides when he realizes someone's coming his way. Wario comes and picks up Luigi's trophy, but then he's ambushed by the Waddle Dee army. Dedede takes Luigi, tosses him on the cargo Wario rode in on. He takes the cargo with all the trophies. The Waddle Dees follow him and Wario yells at them and gets angry. To the southwest of there, Link finds the Master Sword and takes it. He passes Yoshi, who's asleep, and continues on his way. The halberd passes overhead, and the two team up to fight through the forest. On the halberd, a mysterious cardboard box is moving around. Meanwhile, inside the research facility in the Isle of Ancients, Zero Suit Samus snuck in and is sneaking her way through, fighting subspace army troops and robs. She comes upon a Pikachu trapped in this weird generator thing, so she lets it free and the two of them keep going through the base. They eventually find a control room that shows Samus where the power suit is. Meanwhile, Kirby and the princess that he saves made it to the western lake shore, and Kirby runs off to find something he spotted. Meanwhile, the princess gets attacked by Bowser and his cannon does its thing, turns him into a trophy. Meanwhile, a false fighter of Bowser turns back into Shadowbugs, then uses the trophy to turn into a false princess while Bowser kidnaps the real princess's trophy. Mario or Link, or Pit or Yoshi have also made it here. The princess clone tries to use Bowser's discarded dart cannon on them, but the other respective part of the already established duo has arrived, and they destroy the cannon with ease. They then fight the clone, but the other duo has been watching them from a distance, and seeing what looks to be their princess attacked. Either Mario or Link attacks the other pair with their partner. When the fight is over, before the losers can be revived, King Dedede drives past and takes the two trophies of them, using the arm on the cargo. Either Link or Mario sees that the princess's trophy that Wario stole earlier isn't the cargo, and Kirby sneaks aboard. Kirby cuts off the arm with Final Cutter, and revives the two trophies before they hit the ground. King Dedede tries to turn the cargo around and flee, but then the revived Pit or Link hits the cargo with an arrow. The five fighters then chase Dedede's cargo, assuming Dedede is on the same side as Wario and Bowser and plans to hide the trophies so they can't be revived. They find the broken cargo at the entrance of a cave system. They go in, fight their way through, and find a castle in the distance, where the halberd is hovering above it. Meanwhile, Ganondorf warns Bowser that Dedede is hoarding trophies in his castle and planning something, and Bowser runs off to ambush Dedede. Meanwhile, east of the zoo from earlier, Luke's and the Pokemon trainer are trying to catch Charizard for the trainer. They go through a cave and run into Wario at the exit. Luke seeks revenge for Ness, and fights Wario the Pokemon trainer. They actually win, and they turn Wario into a trophy. But Luke is still sad, because Ness isn't with Wario, so they don't know where he is. The Pokemon trainer suggests that he might be in the ruins that the Charizard was at, and they head inside. Meanwhile, Dedede has his collection of 3 trophies, and uses 2 of his golden brooches on them. But he runs out, and he uses the one he saved for himself on the princess, planning to make more soon. Suddenly, the Koopa Troop ambushes him, and the ceiling falls on his head, knocking him out. He turns to a trophy, but the Dedede, Luigi, and Ness trophies are all covered by rubble, so the Koopa Troop only finds the princess trophy. Meanwhile, the 5 from earlier also find the castle, but only see a hole in the wall. They go through another cave system and catch up with Bowser. Mario tries to ambush him, but Bowser uses the princess as a shield to stop the attack. Pit fires an arrow that Bowser dodges, but him dodging causes the brooch to fall off the princess. Bowser also falls off a cliff, but then he just kind of lands on the Koopa Clown car, so no real point. Then he goes to the halberd, so yeah, he doesn't die after falling off a cliff. Kirby's looking at the brooch, thinking about what it means, and then the Ancient Minister uses another subspace bomb that takes Dedede's entire castle. Ganondorf watches the castle get swallowed, before Master Hand messages him. Back in the ruins, Lucas and the Pokemon trainer keep fighting through them. catching an Ivysaur and the Charizard from earlier. Then they reach a dead end. Meanwhile, the Swords Trio, Meta Knight, Ike, and Marth, all of them, they went to the east in the Crossland Desert. Since they lost the Ancient Minister, they spot Gallium in his tank form just kind of cruising across the desert. It's schmoovin'. Anyways, they follow it, and they beat him. Then he jumps off a cliff and crashes into the ruins. Wow, a lot of people falling off cliffs today. Anyways, he lands in the ruins right next to the Trophy of Wario and the dead end Lucas and the Pokemon Trainer was stuck in. Gallium attacks once again, but is beaten once more by Lucas and the Pokemon Trainer. Finally, as a last resort, Gallium grabs Lucas and the Pokemon Trainer, activating a Subspace Bomb in his head, and flies off. Lucas uses PK Thunder to free both of them, but they're now plummeting to the ground. Lucas holds the unconscious Pokemon Trainer as they fall, but then Meta Knight catches them and carries them to the other swordsmen. Gallium's bomb explodes in midair and barely reaches the ground, but it sucks up Wario's trophy in the blast. When they land, the Pokemon Trainer wakes up and shakes Lucas's hand. The Ancient Minister is watching the bomb explode in the desert, and he's big sad about how true Robs die every time the bomb gets set off. Then, Pit shoots an arrow at him, and he dodges it. Then the group chases him, and he uses the bomb that he carried. The group get away, but many nearby Robs die. Meanwhile, Diddy and Foxy go east, and they find this weird swamp place. They keep on schmoovin', but then Bowser shoots Diddy from long range with his cannon. Thing, Dark cannon. He sends out a bunch of Shadow Bugs to clone Diddy, and Fox is gonna fight fake Diddy and Bowser, when suddenly Falco kicks the Dark Cannon out of Bowser's hands and uses 2 blasters to destroy it. Bowser then flies away in his Koopa Clown car, but makes a ton of Shadow Bugs, combined with the fake Diddy first. So the fake Diddy becomes huge and gets even stronger. Then Fox revives Diddy to fight against it, and together Diddy, Fox, and Falco beat the giant Diddy, and Diddy convinces Falco to join him and Fox to help him save DK. The trio keep going through the swamp, and they then reach a waterfall on a cliff and see the Smash Skiff going towards the Isle of the Ancients, with DK's trophy. Diddy gets mad because he can't get there, but then Falco calls the Great Fox. Meanwhile, Samus and Pikachu are still going through the research facility, and then they reach the power suit, but then 2 false suits appear. Pikachu and Samus beat them up, and Samus puts on a real suit. They keep going through the research facility when suddenly Ridley attacks. Pikachu frees Samus from Ridley's grasp, and the 2 of them beat Ridley before finding an exit to the surface of the Isle of Ancients. There's also another exit that the Robs are carrying bombs out of. Meanwhile, also on the island, Olimar is using his Pikmin to fight a giant Rob when Captain Falcon flies in and knocks it over, accidentally killing all the Pikmin except one. Anyways, Captains Olimar and Falcon then team up and go across the island. They see the Smash Skiff with DK's trophy, and an air wing then drops Diddy onto it. Diddy then revives DK as Falcon picks Olimar up and jumps onto the skiff. DK is ready for a fight, and the 4 defeat the troops trying to protect the skiff. After the battle is over, Falco signals to Diddy that they won and flies away as Diddy waves goodbye and thanks him. The skiff then flies into the Isle. Back at the Great Fox, the Halberd is in a battle with it next to a snowy mountain. The Swordsman trio, as well as Lucas and Pokemon Trainer, are watching the fight, and Meta Knight begins climbing the mountain to get his shit back. He meets the Ice Climbers, and they race each other to the summit. They reach the summit and find a Lucario at the top, meditating. It challenges Meta Knight to a friendly battle. They fight, the winner makes the loser not a trophy, and they shake hands. Then, the Halberd grabs the Great Fox with a combo cannon and rams it into the mountain. The Ice Climbers fall off the mountain, and Meta Knight and Lucario jump onto the Halberd. The Ice Climbers land by this big canyon thing, where Mario and the rest of the gang are right next to. Then the Halberd drops a ton of Shadow Bugs, and Mario, Link, Yoshi, and Kirby arrive as well and team up with Meta Knight's former team and the Ice Climbers to win the fight against all the enemies. Meanwhile, Snake leaves the box in the Halberd and starts looking around, but he hears footsteps and hides in a box again. The footsteps turn out to actually be Lucario, and he knew he was in the box thanks to his aura. Meta Knight is told by Lucario that Snake is an ally, and the trio fight through the Halberd until they reach a room with both princesses' trophies locked in cages. and 2 false fighters of the princesses. The false fighters are defeated, and the princesses are revived and freed, but Snake instructs them to stay there while his group keeps going. Then, Zelda adopts her alter ego of Sheik and goes on her own adventure, while Peach follows her. The princesses fight their way through the halberd to reach the top deck. Meanwhile, Fox has gotten himself a new air wing, and tries to destroy the combo cannon, but unfortunately, Sheik and Peach are standing so close to it that Sheik believes that he's shooting at them. Sheik forces Fox to land on the halberd, and the two of them are about to fight, when suddenly Peach resolves the conflict by giving them both tea? Meanwhile, the trio from earlier made it to the bridge of the ship, and find that several false fighters and Mr. Game & Watch are running the ship. Snake throws all the clones out the window. They land on the deck next to Fox and the princesses, and the false fighters form back into shadow bugs and fuse into Duon. Meta Knight tries to regain control of the ship, while Snake and Lucario go to help the others in the fight, as well as Falco, who just kinda comes in out of nowhere. Anyways, they beat Duon, and Mr. Game & Watch's trophy is found. He's revived and joins the group. Mr. Game & Watch is actually, really plot relevant in this game, as due to him being a 2D person in a 3D world, he can do things that the 3D inhabitants cannot, such as mass manufacture shadow bugs magically, I think. Anyways, now the halberd is back in Meta Knight's possession. Meanwhile, Samus and Pikachu are fighting their way through the bomb factory on the Isle of Ancients from above, while the Kongs and the captains from earlier are fighting their way through from below. They all meet up in this huge room with tons of bombs, as well as the Rob Squad and the Ancient Minister. The Ancient Minister seemingly actually doesn't want to fight them, but then Ganondorf appears as a hologram and tells the Rob Squad to detonate all the subspace bombs immediately, to make a big enough rift for the subspace gunship to go through. The Ancient Minister refuses, telling the Robs not to do it so they won't die, but then Ganondorf activates an override on the Robs that makes them activate the bombs and attack the Ancient Minister. The Ancient Minister's code is set alight, and he uses some robo beams to take out some enemy forces before ditching the cloak to reveal that he himself is actually a Rob. He beats off the subspace army troops, but realizes there's no way to stop the bombs, and sorrowfully sends the other Robs into a sleep mode, before telling Diddy that he wants to stay there. DK does not let him, and he just carries him out of the room. The whole group's about to board the Falcon Flyer, when Meta Ridley suddenly appears, trying to stop the fighters from leaving the island. The fighters beat him, and escape the island before the bombs go off and the island is engulfed in subspace. Just real quick here, I want to say that this Rob is the only one that, doesn't, do the bomb things, because he can actually tropify himself, which the other Robs can't. So he's, special. He's, the master robot. Anyways, they then meet up with the fighters at the canyon, who watch the island vanish, and the halberd shows up as well, making the total 29 fighters. The subspace gunship then comes out of the rift that was left where the Isle of Ancients used to be, and it fires a shot from its main cannon into the ocean, sending that part of the ocean into a subspace detonation. Bowser and Ganondorf are on the command platform of the ship, when they see the halberd approaching. Knowing that the heroes now control the ship, they fire at it and it explodes, but then an air wing, Samus's gunship, the Hockatate ship, and the Falcon Flyer all fly out of the explosion, and are too small targets for the gunship to hit. Then Kirby flies in from a different direction riding the Dragoon, and flies it straight through the ship's cannon, causing the ship to begin exploding. Bowser and Ganondorf then retreat to subspace, and the heroes fly their ships inside subspace in pursuit. Bowser and Ganondorf go to meet up with Master Hand as the heroes venture through subspace, but then Ganondorf betrays Bowser with a dark cannon and meets Master Hand. Then, he notices the chains of light on Master Hand, and he realizes that Master Hand was actually just a puppet for Taboo. He grows angry and tries to attack Taboo, the master of subspace, but he does not stand a chance. He's turned into a trophy, and Master Hand is also freed, though his attack against Taboo yields, similar results. He loses. All the 29 fighters reach Taboo, only to be instantly turned into trophies by his off-waves. He then uses the land captured by the subspace bombs to form a huge maze called the Great Maze, filling it with troops and false fighters and bosses. False bosses. The ones that they fought before, but now they're made of shadow bugs, so they're false. All hope seems lost. The fighters are trophified. No one can save them now. Suddenly, back at King Dedede's castle, Ness and Luigi are revived by the Dedede Brooches. They see King Dedede's trophy and reason that he must have saved them with the brooches. They revive him and Dedede hugs them, elated that his plan worked. The three of them all team up and they cross subspace towards the Great Maze, reviving everyone they find on the way. They revive, in order, Samus, Pit, Falco, Lucas, Ike, DK, Pokemon Trainer, Pikachu, Marth, Olimar, Fox, Mr. Game & Watch, Diddy Kong, Captain Falcon, and Mario. They reach the staircase and revive Bowser, who attacks Dedede, only to be defeated. He then revives again, and then he tries to attack Dedede again, but Dedede just flicks him in the face and shows him that Master Hand got taken out. He begrudgingly joins the group to fight Taboo. Meanwhile, it turns out that Kirby actually ate the princess's brooch from earlier, and he gets revived by it. He revives everyone who Dedede did find, and continues across subspace, until he comes across Ganondorf's trophy. Then, Bowser shows up, and vents his anger out on it, like, by beating it up, I think, to vent his rage about being backstabbed by Ganondorf. Dedede then arrives and hugs Kirby, yay, before bringing him to the Great Maze. Meanwhile, Zelda and Link have found Ganon's trophy, and they revive him before he begrudgingly agrees to join them to get back at Taboo. Right before they go in the Great Maze, Wario shows up and boots Dedede in the head for stealing his cargo and trophies. Then, when he sees that Luigi and Ness, who are two of his trophies, are actually on Dedede's team, he takes it more seriously and stops goofing around. Then he gets offered to join the group, and he thinks about it for like 5 seconds and he agrees. So now, there's 35 fighters in total. The 35 of them go in the maze, and after a long fight-filled journey, they reach Taboo. He tries to use his off-waves on them again to trophy them, but then Sonic shows up and damages his wings. I don't know where Sonic came from, but he just shows up and he damages Taboo's wings, leaving his off-waves unable to actually trophy anyone. Taboo is like outnumbered 36-1 now, so he loses horribly, and he sends all the Landon characters back. Like, honestly, he didn't stand a chance. The only place that can never come back is the Isle of Ancients, due to the sheer number of bombs they set off on it. All that's left of the Isle of Ancients is a luminous cross, leaving the Master Robot, aka the Ancient Minister, as the last of his kind. Then after that, they get the three other fighters, Jigglypuff, Wolf, and Toon Link in secret spaces in the map. But that's not really plot relevant, that's like an epilogue story. You know, the game actually received some pretty good reviews from the reviewers, but the fans, they think it's the worst, they hate it. Well, some of the fans. You know, overall, it's actually got a pretty good story, and I really liked the story. It had a lot of emotional beats and plot points, but it is regarded as the worst game by many Smash Bros. Fans. Anyways, looks like we've almost made it to the past, so I'm gonna stop talking about Brawl now. There! That's where everything went wrong!
Are you the pizza man? Wait, are you the pizza man?
Hey! You! But you're that's not what I was thinking. The situation real quick for you. So, you blew up the evil man's house. Then he shot everyone we've ever known or loved into the sun. I got real depressed. Found this magic stick thing that my cousin had. You know, he once was waving around. Yeah. So anyways, I used it to build a time machine. Got rid of my grief, and I came back to save everyone. Also, in the future, Cypher's like the president, so watch out for that.
I'm what? Give me that stick, you pinhead. Mwahaha. Well, I'm gonna wait 5 years and then come back as this super cipher you speak of. I'll say goodbye to you, dunces, even though you'll be seeing me right about
now.
You're welcome for the Radical PS4, bros, but now I have to be going.